Alrighty. Welcome to the one moment. Alright, so welcome to the impromptu Tuesday afternoon evening stream. I'm your host Apollo39. Today I'll be streaming Vagabond TTRPG. So, I don't know where to really start with this, to be frankly honest. I'm sort of shooting on the fly here as to what it is I'm gonna be doing. Unlike where I've actually been soloing D&D, here I'm starting almost effectively from scratch for how this all pans out a bit. Give me a sec, because I just start commencements and all that. So, this is going to be a modestly short stream, because I'm not going to lie, I'm sort of on a tight schedule on weekdays right now. To which I have recently procured a full set copy of Vagabond TTRPG. The last I mentioned it was sort of offhanded, but right now, yeah, so right now I'm sort of a bit more. Give me a sec. I'm still needing to gather all sorts of stuff. Alright, well, for the time being right now, we're just shooting on from the hip. So, Vagabond TTRPG. Am I going to be streaming this? No, probably not, actually. At the very least, as a regular, recurring thing. I would like to, at the very least, wrap up the second arc I planned for D&D solo at some point before maybe switching gears to Vagabond proper. But this is more or less me shooting from the hip for my own personal ventures. As ironically, despite being an advocate for solo D&D, I've not actually engaged properly with solo D&D in the sense of like journaling and all that. That said, solo Vagabond is a possibility and feasible thing as the system is built in mind for all sorts of stuff of that sorts. And so right now, with this in mind, I already created my character sheet already and have already in mind, say, what it is that's, at the very least, what this stream will be covering. To which I will be covering a small portion of the Ruinous League, but pretty much making an impromptu tutorial to pretty much pace through my readings and all that jazz. I am not going to be using any sort of virtual table for this scenario for the time being, as well, if I'm going to be doing this on my off time, most likely, I am probably not going to be using a virtual tabletop a good chunk of it. To which I am still going to need an Oracle system, to which let me get my phone real quick. I am going to use, actually I think there is a, let me see here amongst my prints here. Let me see. Fuck. Okay, give me a sec. Alright, give me a second right now, because I'm going to quickly grab some of the freebies that were available for. I'm just gonna be getting some of the freebie stuff that was actually on Land of the Blind, to which I'm trying to find where is the free PDF stuff. Ah, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to need, what the hell is this? You know, whatever, I'll take it. One moment. Like I said, shooting from the hip right now, just totally off kilter off of what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to be using specifically the Alpha Revision 3 version of Vagabond, because currently, let me see here. Oh, excellent. Okay. Oh, there is already a quick adventure I could go through. If I don't finish this, whatever. In any case, let me see. Where's the... Did I not download the GM letter inserts? I did not, for some reason. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. I'm gonna be needing that. I should remark, like I said, I am using, because I paid for my copy, I'm not using the basic hero handbook. I'm using the full, core edition available at my discretion, to which I am going to be showing it and using it here and there. I am not going to be publishing it because, or you know what I mean, I'm not going to be putting it out there, officially speaking, so that anyone could just peruse around and all that jazz. So, if you want it, you gotta go through Drive-Thru RPG or Land of the Blind proper to get yourself a copy. Anyway, as I was saying, we're gonna be doing a quick tutorialization of what it is that I'm going to be planning on doing right now, because, like I said, this is just going off the hip of what I got. Alrighty, so currently this is what we got. The main character right now is Rex. He is a human in ancestry, level 1. He is a Revelator, and currently, let me just quickly set this to be the correct value. This is his current stat sheet, if I've done everything correctly. 6 might, 4 dexterity, 3 awareness, 3 reason, 4 presence, and 7 luck. To which the Revelator's class feature comes with specifically melee proficiency as well as influence leadership as the 2 skills natively trained in it. However, as I've decided to play as human, I am granted a few things. Among them is strong potential, which I chose to boost my luck to the max of 7. So, there's that. I also am granted a perk and skill, to which I have chosen the Secret of Mana as my starter, and I've chosen my starting skill as Influence, to which there's that. According to the rules of Vagabond TTRPG, you also gain whatever amount of skill that is equal to your reason, halved, rounded up. So in this case, I have reason 3, which in this instance would be 1.5. So rounding up, I have 2 skills as an extra choice, to which I have chosen finesse, and I've chosen detection, to which let me make sure. Let me see. I want to make sure that everything is working right now. Alright, let me just... Alright, I'm just right now fiddling things around right now. Okay, so... Let me see. For some reason, my finesse is not taking, I don't think. So it should be... Alright, so... My awareness is currently 3, and it reduces down by that much. It should be reducing down, but maybe... Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know why finesse is not letting me able to reduce it down a bit, because right now it should be a match to 16, in which it should be a bit higher. Alright, let me try Brawl. That is very odd. Brawl should be... Alright, whatever. For now, I'm just gonna leave it as... You know what? Hold on. So... Going off... Because Dex is a match to Stealth, I'm going to go off the assumption it should be a 12. So that's alright, so that's my thing right there, because when this whole sheet started off, it kicked off with everything set to 18, to which that would mean that everything would have been set to 2. And because I have 4, it knocks it down, and then because skilled does also factor into that, I pretty much have what is effectively a plus 6 from base 20. In any case, though, I believe that should be the correct calculation for finesse specifically. So, this is my character. I've chosen finesse, I've chosen influence, and I've chosen detect as my 3 extra skills on top of melee, which is natively given to Revelator, as well as leadership. With the Revelator's levels, I am given Righteous, which gives me the Gish perk, and I'm able to use spell. Hold on, is that? Okay, that's part of my. Okay. I'm able to use the Gish perk, or gain it off bat, and for casting spells, I am to use my leadership as my conduit for casting spells. To which let me just. So yes, I have also gained the ability to Inspel, or rather, I've gained the power of Inspel through level 1 Revelator, in which I can imbue 1 casting as a continual duration on my weapon, in which I'm trying to think off the top of my head how that works. I've read through Revelator's stuff, and to say the least, I am not fully familiar with it. In any case, because of this, I am granted a boon of 2 spells of my choosing, because I am Revelator. To which I've chosen Blink as one of my effects, and Light, which grants me fire damage up to 1d6 as a baseline, and I can upcast it at a later level, but that's here and there. I am granted currently 2 mana multiplied by my level, which is 1, to which I have Secret of Mana grants me with Revision 3 Alpha. With the 3rd Revision Alpha version out right now, I'm granted plus 2 additional mana, as well as an additional max casting of 3. My luck is 7, so I am a match at 7. And I also have a speed of 30. This is due to the fact that my dexterity is currently at 4. If I was at 3 or 2, it would be set to 25. So I'm currently the average D&D speed. My starter set was between Knight and Warrior, to which I chose to be a Knight, in which, in this instance, I am granted heavy armor of my choosing of splint or plate. It really doesn't matter, it's the same thing. In which it is plate armor. I'm granted a standard shield and a longsword, to which longsword is a versatile weapon, 1d8 times 10, and then the standard shield is 1d4. There are properties to this, keen being the fact that it is reduced critical chance between 19 to 20, and defender is just I am able to defend, and parry is parrying. I'll go over those whenever that comes up. So yeah, that's the general gist right now. This is just the preamble setup. To which we're just going to start off with a basic scenario, a tutorial. This is not off of any official module just yet, but this is just based off of me making shit up as I go along, so bear with me. Alright, so traveling across the world from his home of Jade's Rest is Rex. Alright. Simple right there. Travel across the world from his home. Let's go with something a bit more smaller. Traveling across the let's go with the region. Travel across the region from his home of Jade's Rest is Rex. Our wayward perspective. As he has left home in search of something greater than himself. The call of adventure and glory awaited him in the horizon beyond his home. However, despite this calling, Rex was no fool, as he decided to find glory amongst others alike him. The Guild of Vagabonds, as it's often called, or to some, an Adventures League. They would hold a place for him, and perhaps, should he survive, a place in its halls. Focusing on the arrival of Rex in front of those vaunted, in front of a modest building out near some port city. He would enter and begin to register to become a member, to which he would pay whatever membership fees were required for admission, and to undergo a trial by one more experienced than himself. Alrighty. Let's see now. Let me just get one moment. Alrighty, this is where we pull out the mythic GM stuff. Give me a sec. I actually got dice with me. Alright, I'm going to be using physical dice because I need to justify me having physical dice somehow. So, let's see, what do I have here? Let me see here. I need a descriptor. Alright, we're gonna go off a series of 3 descriptors to build this character of sorts. Let me see if I can find the table, though, because it's been a while since I've actually gone through with this. Let me see. Where is my... Do I even have a D100? I do. Okay. Alright, I need a D100, and for numbers, I need a D10. To which, let me make sure this is a D10. Alright. Alright. We're rolling, baby. We're rolling. This is so exciting, right? Oh, sorry. Let's see what I get. 86. To which... a quarrelsome. Okay. What the fuck does that even mean? Quarrelsome. Quarrelsomely. Okay. Let's get it. You know, let's go with... This has 2 descriptors, to which... You know, let's go with that. 2 descriptors, then. Alright? Quarrelsomely. What the fuck does that even mean? I know quarrel, which is like conflict, so... 15. Creep. Okay. Alright, quarrelsome, creepy. Let me look up quarrelsome real quick, because I fuck's sakes. What the fuck does that even mean? Quarrelsomely. Fond or prone to arguing, disagreeing, or picking petty fights. And he's a creep, too, apparently. Alright, you know what? I need a D4 to pretty much... We're gonna choose... I'm just gonna make this character off rip. So... Male or female? Odds for male? Even for female. Let's see. Male. Okay. I rolled a D4, so it just makes it easier that way. Alright, so... Alrighty. Okay, so... As Rex is led into a training hall... What the fuck? He is introduced to a quarrelsome creepy. What would that fit in this case? With a dour-looking rogue of sorts. A duelist, perhaps. Given the well, let me think. Motif. Given the motif of dread. Given the motif of dread, he exudes. What the fuck is wrong with lead? Or lead, whatever the fuck. Alright, whatever. Who gives a shit? Alright, no, that is fair, though. Grammatically, that is correct. Lead, lead. Alright. Given the motif of dread he exudes. Let me think, what would this guy sound like? So... Fresh meat. Huh? The trainer would... What would this even be? I just would say... as he sizes up Rex. Okay, then. I'm to be your... I'm to be your observer and trial master. I'm to be your observer and trial master for your initiation. Please don't disappoint. Please don't disappoint like others before you. Let me just rectify. There we go. To which Rex, while apprehensive... Right now I got... To which Rex, while apprehensive of his trainer's demeanor, would simply nod and follow his lead. What should I cover first? Let me see here. What should the first trial be, is the question now. Let's see here. We're going to go off of actions, to which, let's see here. Nope. That doesn't count. One of the dice fell. Nope, that doesn't count. I touched it. That is a 10. Oh, yeah, that's a 10 for 14 block. Second descriptor. 37 group. Block group. All right. Okay, so with the descriptor of block group, let me see. What can I make of this? Rex would follow his trainer, to which he would see a group. You know, fuck it, we'll just go with something simple. A group of... Oh, you know what? That's simple, actually. Obstacle course. Let's go with that, because this... I could go with the more literal form, but group, block, obstacle course. Simple, right? Yeah. An obstacle course readied for him. Looking at his trainer, he would instruct simply. You look tough, and you look tough, walk tough. Hell, might even be tough. But that doesn't mean your coordination wouldn't be as poor as a boar. Run the course. Run the course under a set amount of time, and I'll evaluate to see if you're... worth the salt. Should I impose a time limit so soon? Yeah, let's do this. Run the course and... the matter fitting, and I'll evaluate to see if you're worth the salt. To which he would skulk away and seemingly disappear into the shadows. Rex, standing before the course, would observe it for a moment before let's see here. Let's see, what would Rex do in this situation? It's an obstacle course. I'm imagining in my head, off the top of my head, just pretty much like a series of like mantle, parkour challenge sort of thing, and then all sorts of like running through sorts of stuff, tight keeping balance and avoid pratfalls. To which I would say he would attempt to leverage his finesse over it. To which I need to double check now if heavy armor hinders that, because that does matter a little bit. But I imagine it wouldn't matter too much. Let me double check the skill. Let me see, because finesse is one of those things where it's, let's see. Coordination and subtlety used with lockpicking and attacking with finesse. Yeah, so there's that. You know what? I am not going to pretend that I don't want this to pretty much also double as a athletics check of sorts, because there's no other way of like milling about in that sense. So what I'm just gonna do exactly that, I feel like. Just treat finesse as a sort of pseudo like coordination sort of thing. Because while it has all these more obvious things, it says coordination, which is something that I also would, factor into. Might is one of those things where it's like, damage, strength, and just like all that jazz. So, yeah. I'm going to attempt to do finesse, to which I am going to leverage nothing, because this is just going to be a straight 20. I need to beat a 12. That is a 10. I'm going to leverage, at this point, I know the fact that it's like already declared, but I'm going to now leverage my luck to see if I can improve that. To which I am going to be able to make that favored, in which, let's see here, that is an extra d6. Exactly on the money for me, so that's a +2 to that. Alright. Rex, standing before the course, would observe it for a moment before then beginning a rush. He finds momentum and speed as he crosses the obstacles. In a few instances, he does fall a bit short. However, in lieu of that, he makes a recovery in lieu of that, he makes a recovery that is how do I describe just pretty much? You know, let's say makes a recovery that makes up the difference. However, in lieu of that, he makes a recovery that makes up the difference and passes the course. To which I'm gonna put down finesse 12. Pass. Yeah, finesse 12. Pass. D20 plus 6 equal 12. Made favored with 1 luck. There we go. As Rex stands in the end, yes, as Rex stands in the end of the course, he sees his trainer emerge from the shadow as he gives a discerning eye. Well, that's one way. That's one way of crossing an obstacle course. Though admittedly, you passed and didn't fall on your ass. So kudos to that. In any case, your next trial awaits. Follow me. Alrighty. Nice. Trial 2 descriptor. Alrighty, let's see here. What is for the second trial? I want this to be a sort of demonstration of, like, now combat of sorts. Let's see here. Alright, let's see here. Descriptor, go. 9-8. Violently. Okay. That is 107, to which I'm just gonna treat the 7 independents at this point. Oh no, I really shouldn't, actually. Yeah, you know what, for shits and giggles, I'm gonna re-roll this. I'm gonna re-roll the D10 because it landed on boring, in which, yeah. 6, bizarre, okay. There we go. Alright. Young, bizarre. Rex, following the lead of his trainer, would be brought to an arena space, to which he stands before. Let me see. What would be fitting of this, just for like a kicker? Like what? Let's see here. Let's go with beasts. What would fit this scenario? Alrighty, we're gonna go, let me see. I want something that will not fucking wreck me because I'm level 1. I need something that is violently young and bizarre. It's between the giant ant or the great cat. Giant ant it is, I guess, because why not? Actually, let me see. Is there anything else we got? Like, I don't know, a giant badger? I don't know. Let me peruse through this because I don't want to. It's got to be like really strange, but not like so strange and something that would fucking kill my character outright. Oh, here we go. Giant rat. Why not? Can we up this a little bit though? Let me see. It's between the giant ant or giant rat. Alright, yeah, let's go with giant rat. Okay. A giant rat. It seems to have seen better days. And is seemingly also rabid. The trainer would remark upon it. This fellow was found out on the wilds. Half crazed and half crazed and full feral. This big rat you see here, what? This big rat you see here ate most of his kind. Brought him here to find out what's going on. But nobody can make heads or tails of what happened to him. Putting him down will be alright. This fellow was found out in the wild. Half crazed and full feral, this big rat you see here ate most of his kind. Brought him here to find out what was going on, but nobody can make heads or tails of what happened to him. Putting him down will be your gauge of skill. Rex would nod and understand. what is being asked of him and draws his long sword for a kill stroke. All right. So, in this instance, we're going to be demonstrating a quick taste of combat, so to speak, or combat in the loosest sense. In Vagabond TTRPG, combat does not have, like, a check or anything like that, in the sense of, like, oh, you know, +5 because I have a long sword that's enchanted or some shit. In this instance, is a bit more different, to which, in this instance, I need to beat a roll of 8. So, D20, go! 16! Alrighty, nice. Alright, now I need to get a D8 out, actually. Let me see. I know I got one here somewhere. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. D8. 2 points of damage. Now I'm going to make another attack check because I have a shield in which the rules enable dual wielding, to which I'm wielding a sword and shield, so that counts. 5. You know, this is also a perfect demonstration of how luck works as well. To which I'm going to still now invoke another luck point, because I have 7 of them. That is a 6, so that is 11 to hit, or rather, to make another check. Right? To which that is going to be a D4. Let me see. Alright, D4, go. Alright, that is going to be another 2 points of damage. In this case, it's going to be bludgeoning damage, to which that is going to be the total of the giant rat's HP, as seen here. Rex would go for a stab at its chest, to which it would just barely hit anything vital. However, it does pin the wild rabid animal. Seeing it still live, Rex would finish it with his shield and land the killing blow. Seeing this, Rex's trainer would look at him with a critical eye once again, to which he would evaluate. Just barely. Just barely got the stab in. And you were late. Late in the follow-up. Follow-up with that shield of yours. But it's dead. But it's dead, and it didn't get a hit off on you yet. I'd say that's a pass. I'd say that's another pass for you. Follow me to your last evaluation. Yep. All right. Trial 3 descriptor. This is going to be the last trial of this. Give me a second. Alright, I need to wrap things up soon. Unfortunate, I know. So soon, so soon. Anyway, let's make this worthwhile, if at all. Let's see here. So, the descriptor here will be... Let's see. Let me get my D10 ready. Alrighty. That's my dog right now. He's fine. He's waiting for his food to be done, which is actually being prepared for him right now, actually. So yeah, he's fine. In any case, though, let's see here. Descriptor 33. Ferociously. Okay. Ferociously. Let's see. Nope. 78. Passively. What the fuck does that even mean? Okay, so, yeah. Ferociously and passively. Let's see here. This is going to be a fight against the trainer himself. To which, let's see here. I need to find the actual contents of human-like. Let's see, what would fit this description, I guess. I want it to be minimum like a duelist or something. Is there anything with like a rapier or no? Let's see, what would be fitting in this situation? Because the trainer is described as quarrelsome and creepy. A assassin could work, but the problem with the assassin, he's got 4 HP. To which, let me see here. I could go with the sellsword. That's pretty stock and standard, I'd say. Alright, Rex follows the trainer once again, to which he is brought to an arena. Above are a dozen other adventurers. Above are a dozen other adventurers watching it. From both younger members to seniors too. Let's see. Rex will now make a detection check, to which I will declare luck after the result, assuming it's not going to beat. So let's see here. He must beat detection 14. Oh, that doesn't count because it fell off. Yep, that fell off again. Okay, I clearly need more space for my dice to roll. Give me a second. 14. He just meets it. Okay. Let me just quickly do some quick... Alright, D20 equaled out to 14. Rex, seeing this, would then see his trainer turn against him, as he would draw his weapon. However, quick to see this, Rex would act first, to which he would attempt to defend himself against his trainer. Okay, so melee check. Go. Okay, that does not count either, because look, if it falls off the table, it does not count. Don't see that. Don't see that. Please. Alright. In any case, if it fell off the table, it does not count. 8, exactly. Okay. Alright, let me roll the damage. Oh wait, that's right. I gotta put down the damage too. put this down for the shield. Okay. Alright, let me roll. Sorry, let me roll the damage. 8. Okay. I've this. He's, like I said, he's going to be the cell sword, to which that would have been a 13. To which, let me put this down. Damage 1d8 equals to 8. In a fell stroke, Rex would close the distance and slash his sword across his trainer's chest, to which the armor would absorb some. Actually, hold on. Let me double check, because it doesn't. Okay, it's okay. Alright, it says it doesn't really show much of defense here. However, alright, it says here though he's got armor 2, to which that would cut it down to 6. Okay. Alright, so in a fell stroke, Rex would close the distance and slash his sword against his trainer's chest, to which his armor and late defense would absorb some of that initial impact. Let's see here, 6, 13. I think that would be a 7 out of 13, if I'm not mistaken. Absorb some of the initial impact. Melee check 2. I'm going to follow up with a shield bash. 12. Okay. Alright, a d4 worth of damage, to which 3 points of damage. Following up with a shield bash, Rex would be somewhat matched by his trainer as he defend himself with his own shield. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so that's the end of Rex's turn. It is now the enemy's turn, to which the trainer. Yeah, the trainer would attempt to cut at Rex with his long sword, in which Rex himself would react by defending. Let me see here. It says here. Okay, so he could do a combo, it looks like. Alright, so, yeah. This is what we're gonna do. Alright, so yeah. We're gonna do the combo thing then. Alright, so, let's see here. The trainer would attempt to cut at Rex by defending himself with his shield. With his own shield. Defensive action, block. Block / endure. To which, let me see here. I need to double check. Let me see. I need to double check on something right now when it comes to like blocking. Does the DM's guide sheet have anything to say about that? I don't think it does. No, I'm not seeing it. It's mostly just like more broader stuff. So let me just... Adventuring, encounters, combat, skipping, flanking, difficult terrain, action, gambits. Let me see here. It'd probably be... What would it be? It would probably be like saves or something, wouldn't it? Exploration, downtimes. Okay, here we go. Saves. Let's see. Withstand physical harm. Okay, so saves are natural defenses, endurance, reflex, and will. To which physical harm, endurance difficulty. It doesn't say how that would work exactly. So I think specifically, this is me going off the top of my head, because I remember hearing about this sort of thing. I think it's pretty much he can defend against the first dice? Let me see, because I'm... You know what, for now I'm just going to play it straight. He'll need to make 2 endurance saves, to which my required save is 8. So I need to match or beat it. 16. $16. Rex would in time block. Alright, yeah. In time block the attack. I'm trying to think. How does blocking work? I know that reflex would just like, dodge it, right? It's pretty much in the name. But let me double check, because... Let me see. Yeah, so I'm using a shield. Apparently, without the shield... Oh, ooh, that's interesting. Okay. I think I might have miscalculated a little bit. Actually, hold on. With, specifically with Vagabond Revision 3, let me see here, because it's sort of right now. It says here that the shield does not add to armor. Let me double check, though, because I remember seeing the... I remember seeing, like, among the stuff, like, the translations between, like, D&D and all that, that it apparently it did count. I'm trying to figure that out myself a little bit right now. I will remove the extra points if that's the case. Yeah, so it says here, mitigation is Vagabond. So it says here with plate, splint, whatever, it does count as mitigation 4. If it was like plus to the +1 armor and all that, it would bring it up to that. To which, yeah, that's... So, going off of this tag specifically, it looks like it is accurate, but I could be incorrect in that assessment, I'd say. Because for the most part, when it comes to like armor and weapons, the shield specifically, let me see here. The shield specifically has defense. Once per round, you gain its damage dice as armor against an action. So, I don't know if that means like I just get like 1 minimum or like what. But for now, going off the mitigation dice or going off the traits where it translates all the other stuff, I'm just going to assume that it's accurate and that the mitigation is supposed to be 4 instead of 3. Because I am using the shield. Yeah, because I am actually using the shield. Alright. When time block the attack, Rex would in time block the attack, but C following up the buckler coming down to bash him in. Alright, that's another 8 match or beat. Let's see. 18, okay. I would legitimately actually have a camera showing my dice right now. I do actually probably have a webcam somewhere, actually. I know I still have it around here somewhere. But right now, because I'm, like I said, shooting from the hip, I'm not really whatevering right now. But know that I am legitimately recording this, like, as it goes right now. Or you know what I mean, I'm legitimately doing this as it were. So, Rex would stop the second... would stop the buckler bash coming down on him. As he would, flavor-wise, kick back his trainer. React with his own attack. To which... Alright. $15. What do you need? You alright? Yeah, I need to push back the bed.
Papa, where's Papa? Where's
Yeah, he's here. He's here. Give me a.
Put it on the ground. He just likes to guard it. No, put.
All right. So sorry about that. My nose. Yeah. In any case, that is a pass though, and the damage is going to be a D8, to which I'm not sure if I rolled that right. Let me try that again. 4. Okay. Alrighty. That's a -2 to it. Alright. Alright. Rex would stop the buckler bash coming down on him as he would kick back his trainer and react with his own attack. Rex would attempt to make another attack on his trainer, to which, again, it is defended against, but visibly, the trainer weakens. Let me see here. So before he had 7 HP, he is now sitting at a 5, to which I think that is enough to constitute a morale check. Let me see here. Morale check. Let me see. Here we go. First death. Health is at half or HP. Okay, so I need to roll 2d6s. And I need to consult with the morale that he has. If it rolls higher than its morale, the roll. Alright, so if the results is higher than the morale, then that means they either retreat or surrender. To which, in this instance, let me just whip out the human likes and look for Sellsword. Sellsword's morale is at a 7, to which I need to try and beat that. 2 4s, in which that is enough to make him concede. The trainer wavers as he falls to his knee, as he tries to block Rex's attack. However, he knows that he is beaten. and declares clearly, I concede. Murmurs pass through the watching audience, to which I'm gonna roll another. I'm gonna roll a D. Let me see here. This is gonna be for a new character now. Descriptor. Let's see here. 55. And irritatingly, wow, I am just. Is she? All right. Let's see here. Let's see. 73 for number 2. And irritatingly petite? What? Okay. An irritatingly petite person. Alright. Let's roll for the sex of this person. Odds for male, even for female. Male, okay. I'm trying to find the best way to describe this, because holy shit, this is just so fucking screwy right now. What would be... Alright, let's go. Let's go with this. A gaudy and thin-looking man whose looks are that likened to nobility. Would say Indeed, we've seen enough. Indeed, we've seen enough. Your trials are over. Your trials are over, novice. As that is stated, Rex would look around and see more senior members rise and stand. As the man continues. Your performance has been curious, to say the least. But all the same, you have proven yourself and your mettle to be of some worth to this guild. I hereby grant you the title of Guild Novice. Should there be no debate or dispute over this decision. To which, looking To which, looking amongst the other members of the audience, would be a series of slow nods to the agreement. Then it is settled. Welcome, Rex, to the Vagabond's Guild. May your fortune lead you to glory. The gaudy man would announce before giving a overly stylish bow. Rex would see his trainer still on his knees. He would give a hand and help him up. To which, despite the sudden animosity, there was no outward hard feelings. Alrighty. Excellent. I'd say that's enough to leave things wrapped up on for now. I'm not going to be streaming this again, most likely. I'll say that much. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to be switching to Vagabond anytime soon. At the very least, on stream. On my off time, that's a wholly different story, of course. That said, though, I hope you enjoyed this stream all the same. I hope this was at least somewhat informative as to how it is that this system works a little bit. I could be wrong on certain things, of course. I won't deny that. But overall, this was sort of like really fun to go through. Now that I actually went through the paces. I'll be going through the free adventure module that came with the game, or that came with the free bundle stuff. So at the very least, I know what I'm going to be doing on my off time. That said, though, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the stream. If you want to see more, I'll be streaming again whenever I can. To which, what I'll be streaming next is probably maybe Ghost Recon after I've beaten the... Yeah, to which it would be after me beating the... long after the stuff. So, yeah. Once again, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next one. Till then, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.